Joining me now is Iowa Congresswoman and House Budget Committee and House Appropriations Committee member Ashley Hinson. Just what do you make so far, Congresswoman, about what you're hearing about another spending plan? As Joe Concha was mentioning earlier, $1.9 trillion in spending masking as COVID aid. That was already passed. We've got $2.3 trillion in infrastructure spending, although it's not infrastructure that's been proposed. And now this.
Right. Yeah, the spending spigot is clearly on, Dagan, and we have to respect the hardworking taxpayers of this country. And what we've seen in Biden's first 100 days in office is exactly the opposite. We've seen, like you said, so-called spending packages that really include a lot of liberal wish list priorities and not that targeted relief, when only 9% of that COVID relief bill actually went to public health measures to get us out of this pandemic. When we're hearing about this infrastructure package that is not really about infrastructure, only 6% to roads and bridges, 2% to locks and dams. You've got more money going to electric vehicle subsidies than to those actual infrastructure projects. So I think we need to redirect the way things are going in this country. We need to fix the crisis at the border. That's a direct result of President Biden and Vice President Harris's policies. And we need to get back to respecting the American taxpayer, which is what I'm hopeful that we'll be able to do moving forward.
Well, let me turn to the crisis at the border, since you did bring that up. A group of Republican lawmakers pressing the Biden administration to reveal how much money the government is spending on the ongoing border crisis. In their letter to the OMB director, Congressman Jason Smith and John Katko, expressing concern about reports that funds from departments like Health and Human Services and Homeland Security are being redirected to address the crisis. Congresswoman Hinson, what do you know about this, your reaction to that?
Well, I had a chance to visit the border myself and meet with the border sector chief of Customs and Border Patrol, and they told us that they are having to use their resources to address this problem, and that's coming out of their existing budget. They're not getting additional resources to do that. So that means that they're having to pull priorities from other areas in order to cover what's happening there. They're pulling their agents off of the border where we know we need them to defend us against cartels and keep our country safe, and instead they're having to literally change diapers and take care of these migrant children who are crossing the border. So we need to reprioritize what's happening. We need to peel back the curtain so the American taxpayers know that this is a real crisis at the border. It's a humanitarian crisis. The cartels are the ones winning. They're making $11 million a week just on in one sector of the border, smuggling people. So it's a major crisis, and every state's a border state. We need to make sure we're securing our border and respecting the taxpayers in the process.
Lee Carter.
So I'm fascinated by the border situation. This is no doubt Joe Biden's weak points, where he polls the weakest. He's only got 50% support there. And even 2/3 of Democrats, 66% Democrats, say the border situation is a crisis that needs to be dealt with immediately. 87% of Republicans, 73% of independents. And so this is a real challenge. It's really important to the American people to get this right. It's clear that the Biden administration isn't doing a good job. What is the answer? How do we come together and solve this? Because it's a problem.
I think it's fairly simple. We have to make sure we're being secure at the border. We need to restart the construction at the border wall, which immediately stopped when President Biden took office. We need to end catch and release. Title 42 enables our Customs and Border Patrol agents to return these people who are crossing the border illegally more quickly to Mexico. We need to go back to those policies. They were clearly working. And right now, again, we have policies in place that are emboldening the cartels. They're shooting at our Customs and Border Patrol agents. They're sending their dangerous drugs, fentanyl, up into states like mine in Iowa. It makes our communities less safe. Those sheriffs are screaming out for help. They need the resources and they need to be able to keep their communities safe, but they can't do that right now because of the crisis at the border.
Congressman, but these were policies that were removed by the Biden administration without Congress being involved. So how do you reinstate these policies? Like you said, the Remain in Mexico policy, for example. Are you powerless? In essence.
Well, I think our greatest power right now lies in telling the story of what's happening at the border. And I'm encouraging everyone who's going to watch the speech tonight to go to gradebiden.com and let us know what you think, because I have a feeling he's not going to address the situation at the border, which is why it's our duty to get out there and say, here's what's really happening. These migrant children are being detained in facilities that are they're safe, but they're, they've got COVID coming across the border. And who knows what's happening once they leave those facilities. Trafficking is a huge problem in this country, and our communities, our people living in the communities deserve to be safe. So that's my biggest priority, is to make sure that we can spotlight what's happening there and focus on the real solutions that are going to be able to fix this crisis at the border brought on by President Biden's policies.
Congresswoman Ashley Hinson, thank you so much for being here this morning. Stay tuned.